All right. So, speaking of drinks, Ice Cube. Ha! How you like that transition?
Nah, that's terrible, terrible.
Ice Cube is in hot water. And not, oh boy, that boy is smooth with it. Anyway, we'll see if this is a whooping out of head candidate for text. Anyway, so Ice Cube, the rapper. Um, I have many different opinions on this, but he and this just happened. It wasn't even on the list of topics that we had sent out earlier. We were going to talk about because it just happened today. So basically, Ice Cube for months now has had what we call a contract with Black America. I admit I have not read the details of it, but it is I gather a list of proposals and initiatives regarding education, economics, criminal justice, and I'm guessing, but it's basically saying these are the things that we as Black people are asking for. And I 100% agree with that approach. And we've actually had that discussion here on Just Reasoning that we shouldn't really be slaves to any political party or just go along with what any political party said. Or nor should we expect them to come and say, here's our agenda for the Black community. No, we are the Black community. So we outline our agenda and then we go and we support whoever backs that agenda. Right. So with that said, so Ice Cube for months has been talking about this contract with Black America. And so earlier today or yesterday, a representative from the Trump campaign basically gave Cube a shout out and said, basically big up to Ice Cube, for working with the Trump campaign on his contract to Black America. So everybody's like, what's that all about? So Cube responded and said basically, he has had this contract with Black America. Democrats reached out to him, Republicans reached out to him. And he said, this is Cube saying, Democrats said basically, we'll get back to you after the election. And the Trump campaign took elements of what Cube had in his plan and added it to their platinum plan. So the Democrats, they already had a plan called Lift Every Voice. That was their plan. So that's the plan they're going with. Trump took elements of Cube's plan and put it in there. And so essentially, it's all blew up because nobody have known about this, but the Trump campaign basically put Cube out there and said, tag him and said, shout out to Ice Cube for work with the Trump campaign. So people are like, oh, come on, Cube, now you have to be wearing a MAGA hat. They've just been roasting him on social media all day long. So I'll ask the question this way, and I'll start off with Tex. Was Cube used? Was he used for his name, for his notoriety, for his popularity with Black people? Were they using him to try and influence votes? What's your perspective on that?
Of course they did. At this point, they're desperate and they're going to use anything they can in order to, swing the vote, the Black vote. Cube is very influential artist in music, movies, producing, and things like that. So with that name recognition, yes, they did use him. At the same time, I commend Cube because what I read is he actually approached the Democrats and the Republicans about this initiative. Okay. And of course, like Chris said, the Democrats said, we'll get back to you after the election. And of course, it was an opportunity for the Republican Party to try to swing the vote. So they took elements from that plan and brought it, to their own plan that's going on right now. Now, I don't understand why people are bashing Cube, because if you have an opportunity to make some changes or basically get a seat at the table, which the regular person does not have. I mean, he was able to talk to the bigwigs, and get his point across and let his ideas and views be heard. So if you have that opportunity, you do that. Now, it doesn't matter who's in office at the time, but it could actually make change for Black America itself. So you do that. We don't know how long this man is going to be in office or the next person. So if you can get in a position,
3 more weeks.
Well, we hope.
More or less.
If you can get in the position to let your ideals and things be heard and some kind of change be made, you do it. It doesn't matter who's in office at this point in time. This is something that can further the Black agenda from years to come.
Mm-hmm. Doc, what do you say?
Well,
First of all, you know how Ice Cube is. Secondly, do you have Ice Cube in your tea? All right, go on. All right, continue. Go on.
well, I mean, I kind of agree with some of what Tech said, and not really. I think, honestly, the average Black person, unless something is radically wrong with you, is not really a true fan of Republicans, especially at this point in time, considering, who we have in power. So if the projection, if based on what Q probably said, is kind of hugged and loved, because that's a projection by the Republicans, I can probably see why some of the people of color were actually somewhat offended. So I think that it's probably just a projection that probably caused them to bash him. Okay, because rightfully so, that is currently presiding as president has really done us a lot of injustice, and it's just facts. So yeah, we anything that's associated with him, it's just not good. And I think that's probably how it was probably projected. That's why the Blacks kind of probably attacked him. And
so let me ask you this, Doc.
Question,
Let me ask you this. So if this would have happened at the beginning of the Trump administration and presidency, do you think it would have been different? Or should he have not done anything at all?
It should not have been different. It should not have been different.
Yeah,
I honestly never voted for the guy. It should not have been different. But and I'm gonna take it there. I think the reason why Hillary got kicked out is because the United States really wasn't ready for a female president. They'd rather have a Black man before a female. Be that she's Black or white. They'd rather have a Black man before a white female president. So,
and they just really didn't like Hillary. Yeah. That too.
Well, she got the popular vote though.
She did get the popular vote.
Yeah.
But
that's true.
The
3 million more. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the beginning of the election should not have changed anything. He was just inappropriate. And I mean, I don't know if you guys had sensed it that day when he won, but it's like you could it's like there was tension in the atmosphere.
Oh,
I don't know if y'all picked up on that. It was weird, because no one anticipated that this guy was gonna win.
You could cut the tension with a knife. So to add to Tech, especially for your answer, I will speak on what Tech said. Yes, I think it would have been perceived differently. Because basically, if you had that conversation at the beginning of his term versus now when he's going out, right? So at the beginning, you seem like, okay, you may actually want to do something. Regardless of whatever we thought about him before that, it seemed like there may have been an opportunity. At this point, after you've been there for 3.5, 4 years and have done nothing, and have done nothing but, talk about, shithole countries and Baltimore crime and rodent infested, and, your cities are no good, all that, right? So after hearing all that for 4 years, but what, have you done anything? Have you been interested in any of these reforms? Have you been interested in discussing systemic racism and why these communities are that way? No, you haven't. But now, at the end, it's just like, all right, you know what? Let me just throw out like a bone for some votes. And here's the thing about this, which I fully agree, which I fully believe. This isn't a plot to try to get Black votes. Trump knows that for one, Democrats in general Black people mostly are going to support Democrats, and particularly with him, he knows he's not going to win a significant number of Black votes. What this is throwing a bone to make white people feel less racist for supporting it. So it's basically saying, you know, how can I be a racist if I have a black plan, right? And if you look at the plan, it's just throwing out numbers, you know, saying we're going to bring 5 million new jobs to the black community, to create 500,000 black businesses. Well, by doing what? Anybody can't just write out something on paper and say this is what we're going to do. So it's basically like to make
medical plan.
Yeah, I mean it's just, you know, to make again it's to make white people feel comfortable about voting for racists. That's what it is.
Yeah, but here's my take though. I think so much damage has been done in 4 years that at this point, and maybe I'm probably just getting my whole emotional, personal feelings caught up. You've done 4 years of damage. There's nothing at the almost 4th year that you can tell me that's gonna make me change my mind after you've done.
I agree.
You've killed our children.
I agree.
You don't get a voice anymore.
I agree.
Game over.
That's you. But there's that, you know, this quote unquote suburban white woman in Ohio someplace who she have 1 or 2 like a black friends, you know, and she's like, you know, I voted for him in 2016. You know, can I vote for him again? He's done all these things. But then you hear, okay, he has this black plan out. Okay, well, he could be racist. You know, he worked with Ice Cube, for God's sake. You know, you can't be racist. It's for them. He's trying to make white people feel less racist for voting for race. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Especially, right, sir?
Let me tell you something. I agree with Chris.
Trump.
Right. I mean, you know, the Trump campaign remind me of a little youth we sit down beside you in a class. And the whole time in a class, for almost the whole semester, you might do your own thing and I fail. And the final exam come now, and he need somebody to copy off. So he find a guy where say something or I get good grades, and he sit down and copy off it and feel say, boy, yeah, he might go win, just like Trump. I mean, I've read the contract. It has a lot of very good things that it wants to get done, right? And I applaud Cube for being a part of it, right? But I don't think that he really should be bashed because of that, you know.
I don't think so either.
Because you know, I mean, people are gonna always try to use you when you're trending, or if you're doing anything good, they want to be a part of it. And worse, if you're sinking, right? You're coming like a straw. You know, drowning man trying to clutch at a straw. You're coming like a straw with Trump and Wolf and say, look, just like Chris said, you're not that racist. You can't go on with me, man. You know, roll with me a little bit. And it's gonna work because, you know, some people look out to stuff like that. Then we repeat it even though they don't know nothing where I go on. But they just have something to say that, look, you might try a thing we don't know, right? We're not that bad. You know, we're not really here to know.
The Republican Party has been doing that since day one. I mean, they did it with Steve Harvey. They did it with I
Jim
remember
Brown.
Pastor John Gray, Jim Brown. So it's a pattern.
But here's the thing, though, and I'm going back again. I'm the devil's advocate. I can see why, especially our people, have an issue with the way how Cube handled this thing. You have to stand for something, or you're gonna fall for anything. Okay? At the end of the day, your thing still says black. You have made your name and you never make it with that man. Okay? So at this point in time, okay, you don't need his graces. I mean, he's seeking your graces. So no, in that defense, he should have come back and said something. No, you have to stand for something. I would never want to identify. If I'm a successful black person and I have something that I would never want to identify with a personality like that. You have to stand for something or you're going to fall to anything. And that is why us as a people can't get better. No.
Yeah. So, I mean, here's where Cube has been getting some criticism. And they're basically saying that regardless of the contract to Black America, they said that he is knowingly being used because, and I haven't seen exactly what Cube said, But apparently Cube has been on this. Neither one of them do anything for us. So I'm reading people's tweets. I haven't seen what Cube said, but people are saying that he was basically saying that we really shouldn't vote for any of them. So basically say don't vote because they're all the same. And so, where I've seen attacks coming for him is like, you're going to tell us not to support any of them, and now you're here work with the Trump campaign. So you're suppressing votes on one end and then work with the Trump campaign on the other end. Again, I haven't seen what Cuba has said about that specifically, but I've seen a lot of people making those comments saying you kind of, saying as Black people, we should just hold our vote and not really vote for anybody until they come and support this. And in the meantime, you're on the side working with Trump, So
That's not the way forward.
But with that said, before we kind of move on here, I agree with the approach. And weeks ago, probably the first episode of Just Reason, when we're talking about this, is that what we as Black people need to do, instead of waiting for somebody to come and say, here's my Black agenda for your community, what we need to do is say, this is what we want. These are our specific asks. We want this in education, this in healthcare, this in small business development, infrastructure, all these different things. And once we outline that, we now go to all our representatives or senators, president, and say, this is what we want. Are you on board or not? I don't care if you're on a blue shirt or a red shirt. Are you going to support this our agenda or not? And that's essentially what Cube did. So I believe a lot of the attacks he's getting is not fair. But, people are saying basically, wise up. This man is using you. You have more sense than that. People, they've been coming at them hard. I mean,
it's a catch-22. He's trying
house
to do
niggas with attitudes.
He's doing something to actually try to better the Black community.
Yeah,
and you have to bring it to both parties. You have to, because and with that said, the Democrats probably said let's wait till after the election so they can know hey, what their status is, so they know how far they can go and things like that. And plus, they already had their own plan. So
I think that is a key point, because the way that many are playing it on social media is that they just told Cube to screw off. We're not interested in a plan. But if you already have your plan, then we're not going to just adjust it because you name Ice Cube. We have our plan that we think will work for the Black community. So we're not going to just rip it up and take things out and put because you're Ice Cube. So there's before we move on, I'm going to make, I don't know the exact quotes, but on the Ice Cube videos, there's a video from Malcolm X talking about how white America props up these Black celebrities, entertainers, ball players, musicians. He said they prop them up because they, as our community leaders, they're not going to look to, somebody like a Malcolm X as a leader. They're going to refer to somebody who is in entertainment because, they believe that these people should not be taken seriously. So that's what Malcolm X said, that it's kind of a plot of white America to prop up Black entertainers, to see that we shouldn't be taken seriously. But anyway, obviously Malcolm X said it a lot better than I did. So, but we'll
did a good job.
And get your thoughts on it. Tex, bring me back one. Whatever you're pouring, bring me one.